Hey, it's Damon Williams here, and I'm tell you what I'm thinking. I think everybody needs to go see that Michael Jackson movie this weekend. This young man nailed it, bodied that. The performances, the vocals, the mannerisms. You know, he it's a Michael movie. He did his thing. Now, my only my only trip is the other brothers, as far as the casting, they wasn't really trying to match them. Jermaine had a Jermaine, one of the part of the Jermaine part, but the other brothers, I don't know. It looked like Joe and Guy Tori was Marlon and and Tito. It was an awesome film. It didn't get too deep into the muck. In fact, it was mostly Brown Mike. Okay, that's the Mike we know. That's the Mike we love. It was Brown Mike until it wasn't toward the end, and it's really kind of hinting that there'll be a sequel, and they said it might be even in the works. So whatever you're doing this weekend, take your kids, take your mama, go see this movie, especially if you're a Michael Jackson fan and you want to hear the music. They're not getting deep beyond the surface of the stories. It just shows his ascension from the little boy in Gary when his daddy, Joe Jackson, took care of that business and put them on the map. Say what you say about Joe. Yeah, he swung that belt, but he swung that belt into billionaires. They got money they still making off Joe. So, Joe was a little bogus. And I met Mr. Jackson. I worked with him. There was a club in Gary called Joe Jackson for a moment. And on the grand opening, they had me and George Wilborn, Tony Schofield, some other comedian. I think even Lil Rel might have been on that show. But they had a Michael Jackson impersonator. And the Michael Jackson impersonator, I had a chance to interview him because I was hosting the show. And so Joe Jackson in the audience, you impersonate Michael. So, of course, my question to the young man was, did you feel any extra added pressure to perform Michael's stuff in front of the legendary Joe Jackson? And he's like, well, it was an honor and a pleasure. I'm like, no, I mean, were you scared that if you missed a step, Joe's going to come up here and hit your ass with that belt? And when I tell you Joe Jackson was cracking up in the audience, it made my whole situation. Now, I worked with the other Jacksons when they came back out on the tour, and I went by the house, and I was covering them for the radio station, and I also opened the show at Star Plaza. And God bless that woman, Katherine Jackson, because she's a saint, and she's still here, Now, the movie does not feature a few of the Jackson siblings. Reby, nowhere to be found. Janet refused to be a part of it. And I don't know what they did about Randy. They never mentioned Randy. They never got to Randy. The bongos wasn't even in the movie. Randy was never playing the bongos. But go see the movie. Plus, there was a revelation in the film because I listen to some songs on the surface, but I don't get to the meat of the lyrics sometimes. And my wife was cracking up because at one point, Michael was singing one of the songs, and here's what happened. Beat it. No one wants to beat it. That's what I've been saying since it came out.
Not no one wants to be defeated.
So if you ain't doing nothing else this weekend, take your behind to a movie theater, and you need to see it in theater because the sounds, the music, the concert performances, you got to see it in a theater. It'll come to the house eventually, but try to get to the theater, take your kids, inform them about Young Mike, Brown Mike. The movie's a smash. And honorable mention, shouts out, because I didn't know he was in it. Deon Cole got a nice little scene still in the film as well. Michael, go see it. Now, it might not be right, might not be true, but that's what I think.